In the early morning of December the 9th, 1835, General Martin Perfecto de Cos had to face the reality of his rather impossible situation. A plan for a counterattack on the Texans was rejected by his Council of War just after midnight that morning. There had been a large exodus from his reserve force of the presidial troops, such as those of La Segunda Compañía Volante y San Carlos de Almo de Parras, which had held control of the former mission across the river since they were sent as a Spanish troop in the early part of the 1800s. The horses for the cavalry had not had their regular shipment of hay for feed due to the Texian raid in November, known as the Grass Fight. The deserters could now tell the rebels exactly what the structural problems and strategic situation was in Cos's last defensive structure that could hold out while waiting for a larger force to end the rebellion once and for all. He asked that Lieutenant Colonel Sanchez Navarro would parley with the Texans, seeking the best terms available. Sanchez Navarro carried out a white flag towards the priest house, which had been captured by the Texans just about a day beforehand. After playing a bugle to signify that a messenger was coming out, Captain Cook received the message and informed General Burleson, who sent Frank Johnson, Robert Morris, and James Swisher as negotiators. They talked out until the early morning of December the 10th before settling on an 18-point capitulation settlement that was perceived by a number of Texans to be a little too lenient to the Mexican army that had just given them a very tough fight for 4 days straight. The men did vote in favor of the terms at 10 in the morning on December 11th, however, but it might come back to haunt them, as Cos will end up reneging on one of the major clauses that says that he could not re-enter Texas and re-enter the fight. But it's more for the sight down the road. The Texans suffered only 24 casualties during the 5 days of fighting, with 2 men being killed and 3 mortally wounded, including, of course, Benjamin Rush Milam, who had helped lead the assault. The end of the siege and Battle of Bejar would give the Texans a break of just over 2.5 months before the next sizable Mexican force that was headed by, this time, the president himself, General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna, and General Jose Urrea. With the coming of the new year, the Texans were set for a series of setbacks, starting with the Grand Expedition, where a number of the supplies left behind by the forces under General Cos in San Antonio for a military invasion of Matamoros, which fell apart before even reaching the border of Texas and Coahuila. The siege of Bejar, however, did make sure to recognize that the Texans could face a numerically superior and a better trained army holding their own. While the Texans will have a number of trouble coming in the coming months, that same tenacity that they show here in the Battle of Bejar will be seen in the end of April, on April the 21st, 1836, near Buffalo Bayou, at a place called San Jacinto Creek, where the Texans will finally receive a last victory.